Rick, if you can hear me.
I can.
I was reading a formal statement of assessment to the Dean of Engineering at a Chilean university. And I'm telling Priscilla, no, I can't talk now.
Well, Priscilla was so cute, and I tried to convey to her that I took a much lower priority in your life than the Chilean, whatever he was, ambassador to the world. So I understand.
All right. Ready to get started. Good afternoon. This is the Nantucket Roads and Right-of-Way Committee, Tuesday, October the 18th. We're meeting in a hybrid format as allowed by the state at 131 Pleasant Street Trailer with the availability for folks to attend via Zoom. The committee will conduct roll call on all votes. The Zoom participants are asked to identify themselves. Your name will be noted on the screen under your Zoom connection. All Zoom participants are asked to mute their device unless addressing the committee. To that end, we're going to do a roll call of those currently in attendance. Alan Reinhardt. Here. Lee Saperstein.
Here.
Rick Atherton.
Here.
Matt Lowell.
Here.
Nelson Eldridge.
Here.
Ed Gillum. Here. Bill Greer. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment. I don't see anybody breaking the door down to get in. And nobody online.
Because you can't park.
So we'll move to the next item, which is discussion and approval of minutes from September the 20th, 2022. Does anybody first let's move to accept it and then see if anybody has any. So motion to accept.
Bill,
Ricky, and then discussion.
Oh, sorry. There's your discussion.
Rick, if I could ask, who moved and who seconded?
Alan, let's see, Rick, Alan moved and Snooki seconded.
Second? Who was second?
Snooki.
Snooki.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Rick.
Okay. Yeah. In on, I don't have a page number, but it's the section on chapter 91, 66 Washington and 46 Easton Street. I think it's basically right, except that in the course of that discussion, I think we agreed that before we would draft something direct to DEP, we would communicate as advisory to the select board and the town manager, sort of what we're up to and what we'd like to do with DEP. And that was probably more politic than running off directly and running any risk that might entail. So I think that's clearly my recollection. And I'm a little bit late, but I will get that off hopefully next time to Bill to review. So.
Okay.
Rick, can you send me an email with the correction? I think I got most of it, but I want to make sure it's correct. And if it's of substance, I'll send the minutes out again.
Yeah, I'll get something to Lee, and I don't think it's terribly of substance, but it might be considered that. Who knows?
Okay.
So Bill, I think we could accept a motion to approve with edits.
Okay. Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
So we'll do a roll call. All in favor of that? Alan Reinhardt. Aye. Lee Saperstein.
Aye.
Rick Atherton.
Aye.
Lowell.
Aye.
And Nelson Eldridge.
Aye.
Ed Dillon.
Aye.
Thank you. Ken Bogran is not here, but he did send us an email, and we're gonna have the same issue with Patrick Reed. He's unable to be here. Patrick sent an update. And actually Ken emailed us one. And I'm gonna see if I can find it because we'll read it into the record. So somebody talk amongst yourself for a moment. Okay. This is the update, and I'll send you this, Lee, so you can have it officially for the minutes. But it's the update from Ken Bogrand on Franklin Street. Franklin Street, Ken says the town's position is that we do not currently want to take this as a town street, but the potential continues to be under your review. And that's something we can discuss that in a second. And the second one is Stone Alley. We are reviewing all of the concerns as to the safety of this project. And his final statement is neither of these are currently near the top of the list of the real estate office priority list. So that's the update on that. Anybody have any comments? That we want to get back to Ken about or with?
Did you talk to him? Sorry. Did you talk to him about Stone Alley, like in specifics, or just a general,
he took those two questions from our last meeting and pulled those out of the minutes.
Yeah.
And so those are the two items that he responded.
I just think that I need to talk to him myself for various reasons, but I think Stone Alley is like a completely different thing than any other road. I mean, you can talk about Millbrook for the next 50 years and all that stuff, but this is not a road. This is a historic kind of oddball, I mean, you can talk about it like, what if we didn't have rights in the Bluff Path?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, this is a very strange little thing that needs to kind of be legally fixed, like Steps Beach, like some of those ones that we didn't really have rights in and that we didn't know. Now, this isn't as important as something like Steps Beach, obviously, as far as public use, constant every summer. But this is one of those historic, it's cobblestone, it has the ivy. I mean, this was done for a reason. It should be, in my opinion, it should be on a list that's not like the other stuff. It's a little bit different. It's more of a, like your founder's burial ground, Alan. You know, this is a completely different thing, than the typical conversation about meetings. That's all I'm saying. So that's my feeling about it. I do understand why there's some reluctance to push because of the owners and what they'll get all in a dither, but I still think we should keep it in a separate spot.
Ed?
I think that's correct, but I think that part of the reluctance prior to us, it might be the fact that the town might then feel obligated to do some
Here we go.
work on it, maintenance on it.
The owner, the abutters, we can make a deal like we did at Steps Beach. The abutters do all the work. They did the rock and everything. So I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
It is kind of a slip.
Maybe
we be back in an hour or so.
Maybe what we should have Vicky Marsh or somebody like that, if that could happen at some point. Look at this from a
legal standpoint.
Yeah, she's good at this, and look at it as far as like what rights do yes versus some other ones that we've had where they could kind of own the land versus this is a little bit different. So I don't, no big deal. I don't want to prolong it. I have to leave early too, so sorry. Well, not early, but
Bill. Yo, Bill.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it because I was on mute, but Phil Smith called me and he says he's in the waiting room waiting to be admitted.
Thank you.
Sounds like a doctor's office.
Coming in now. Our Zoom facilitator was asleep at the switch, whoever that guy is. Wait a minute, that was me.
Hi, guys.
So,
I got a link that was left, that was from September 29th, so something was screwed up.
Probably do.
Bill, I have the same problem, but I opened the agenda that was sent out today by Bill, and that link worked.
Okay, it kept putting me to the 29th one, but anyhow, I'm on.
Yeah.
It's the thrills of modern technology.
Yeah.
Sometimes the computers don't do what you want it to do, only what you tell it. Okay. So just to bring you up to speed, we just did Ken's report on Franklin Street and Stone Alley, neither of which are high on the list for the real estate group to do takings. So we want to have some discussion with Ken about that. The next item is a report from Patrick Reed. Patrick is unavailable to join us. He did send this in, I'll share it. And Lee, I will send you the copy of this so that you can have it as part of the minutes. And this is from Patrick Reed. Unfortunately, I can't make this meeting. As a request, as requested, here's a quick update of what I've been working on since our last meeting. Support for Fox, Williams, Pleasant Complete Street Project. We applied for a grant with the state to support the DPW's project. The project is currently under design to improve sidewalks on Sparks, Williams, Pleasant for the town's previous prioritization plan. Note that the grant award, if awarded, would support improvements on Pleasant Street between Five Corners and the roundabout, the portion of Sparks between Mid-Island Roundabout and the Coffin Rotary and Williams Street. Second item is Orange Street. They're scoping path improvements for the future design work on Orange Street between Goose Pond and West Creek Road. And then the Wawinit Path. They're working on a memorandum of agreement with FHWA on design work for a path facility along Wawinit Road. If that goes through, Rick, we expect to see you on a bicycle.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's a little hard to get across the Squam Swamp over to Wawinit from Squam Road. So we'll see.
Path facility mean a bike path.
Yo, Bill, just for people's history, several of us, Alan will recall, attended a session on the Complete Streets program to help the town prepare its proposal to be incorporated. And as you can see, the payoff is that we get support from the state for work that makes streets, the word complete means that it'll accommodate all users, vehicles and pedestrians alike.
Okay, everybody have any comments or questions that we want to flag for Patrick when he reads the minutes?
I think it's good news that they're making progress, particularly on, I mean, I guess they're applying for funds or grants or whatever.
That's good, very good news. That's a lot, that's a big area they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Extending it to down here and over. And
Well, Wawinit, you're talking about.
no, we're talking about the grant's gonna go to the Pleasant Street, Williams.
Yeah.
And this rotary, all the way to the, roundabout to the rotary.
Yeah.
Which is quite a project. Good.
But there's been a lot going on, just in different pieces.
I would think this piece
With all that.
is subject to change depending on what happens here.
Well, I mean, this is like this project over here. Everything's one piece at a time.
Right.
Like there's no like way to just like do everything at the same way. We couldn't even get Dan's Pharmacy right until the bank land fixed the entrance and the cut through. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just how things are. But I think that the whole issue with Pleasant Street, the trees, the Phelan property, and some of the sightline issues, and then have created more emphasis on it. And of course, fixing what's over here, that little dinky like bike path that wasn't even a bike path that was built in the 60s, needs to be bigger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, so.
With the amount of foot traffic and bike traffic you got today, you've got to do something.
Well, I can tell you right now, these
traffic,
summer traffic, these
Yeah.
silent 30-mile-an-hour electric bikes that make no noise.
Yeah.
I love them, but I watched 3 kids the other night downtown at 7:30, just when it was getting dark, around by the AMP. They were zipping around up and down off the sidewalk. They were having a blast. I mean, they were like out in the moors, but they're not in the moors though.
Yeah, actually, I saw that.
And it's pretty amazing. These things are like dirt bikes
right
now. They've got these new ones with big tires, and it's
and
unbelievable.
they treat them like skateboards.
They came down the boardwalk. It used to be where the Scarlet trainers were.
Yeah.
Boat Basin. And we were walking back, and it was, we could hear them coming, I couldn't see them.
Yeah,
And we.
you heard them because of but you heard them because of the wood.
Right, exactly.
because
If
of
it hadn't-
pavement.
If it hadn't
No.
been that, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have heard them at all.
They
So I
almost
heard
need
this
to have a
Noise,
noise.
so we backed up.
So you
It's
hear-
gonna be, this
so
is
you
gonna
hear
be the
them,
future new wrinkle. What to
Gonna be
do.
the new mopeds.
I love them. I think they should be on the road. They go faster than mopeds, which is good in some ways. But, well, it is
Yeah,
because you
I
don't have to
go-
pass them. But the problem is people pass and they shouldn't, you can't stop it. But no helmets. Kids aren't smart enough. They're having so much fun. They don't realize how dangerous this is. And I'm scared someone's gonna get hurt.
Well,
They're
there's
gonna turn it into a problem, and it's really not. We
There's
just
a
have
no
to
noise
educate.
factor. That's tough.
I would like to
no noise.
reinforce Nat's comment about helmets.
No
we-
kids with helmets.
We
Not
don't
everybody.
really know how many bicycle
Accidents.
riders are delivered to the emergency room, but
That's a
I'm
good
sure
point.
it's greater than 0.
I just, I don't like poo-poo and stuff. That's good. This is great. No gas. I mean, everything's great, wonderful, but you can't hear them. I mean, it brings me back to when we used to
Same
have
with the
the,
cars. though.
we used to take the close
them either.
clip and put it in your spokes and make the
Yeah,
noise.
with a car.
I mean, there's no noise with these things at all.
We used to do a playing guard.
Yeah, the playing guys, that's right. Yeah,
And clothespin.
yeah.
Okay,
Clothespin.
Anyway,
so, nothing further for us to refer to Patrick. So, and what I've asked,
Might be
I think
interesting.
we'll ask, Ken to do the same thing. Instead of just sending it an email, we'll have him send it as a doc that we can then,
Mhm.
have it. So, that way we can, if they can't get here, we can still give them official input instead of reading an email.
It might be interesting also if they've got something we haven't brought up that's relevant to roads and right of way, like the Wawinnet path. And maybe we just kind of give
Yeah, that's
preview-
something new on
a preview of what it's all about.
yeah. Oh, it's too good to be true, to be honest.
Indian Trail,
I believe
Native American.
there's a future possible town meeting article that they talked about at the selectmen's meeting last week, select board meeting. And there's apt to be an article at town meeting on electric bikes and bike paths.
Yeah.
And I think the discussion is whether they're looking at prohibiting them or regulating them on bike paths. That's what I understood the conversation.
Yeah.
I like mopeds.
It's happening really fast too. It's like instantly now they're here, like poof, overnight. It's not like rollerblades where now they're gone. There's only one person rollerblades now. I mean, seriously, I think there's like one. And they used to be everywhere and now there's nobody doing it. You know what I mean?
I've seen a lot more of the scooters, the
Yeah.
old fashioned kind of scooters that
On electric.
kids see them all around
I,
in the
You know,
street.
speaking- no. just, I don't mean to like get off topic, but I want to bring something up that you're gonna think I'm turning into a seasonal resident that wants to control the island, but which I'm not, obviously, but I believe that passing cars should be banned in Nantucket. You shouldn't be passing a car. I got passed the other day going 50 on Wisconsin Road. Where the hell are they going? Right? Where are you going? Right? But
don't give me the.
But no, but I'm just saying, that sounds like sort of an old sort of fuddy-duddy kind of thing, but like, for what reason does a car have to pass another car on Nantucket Island? Zero, in my opinion, okay? But with that said, Pulpus Road, people passing mopeds, there's no shoulders on our roads. I've talked to Patrick a little bit about some of this stuff. With our narrow road, we just feel that we're, have to keep these 20-foot wide roads where they should be 22 or 23. There's no place to pass. You're not going to be able to make people not pass a moped in a bad corner, especially on Pulpus Road. There's some bad corners on Pulpus Road.
You're not going to be able to stop.
So
even if it's a banned island wide.
Yeah,
it's all about enforcement.
I know, it's not going to happen. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying they did get rid of the passing lanes in front of Maurice Gibbs's, just so you know. So that's good, because there was one spot that had passing on Pulpus. Correct. They did a mile, just a little piece right there. So they're gone now. So
I didn't realize they were gone.
The one thing that I did talk to Patrick about, and I think this is the ultimate answer, is to widen some of the bike paths. They're only 8 feet, and then that means they're really 7. Okay, bushes and grass. The 10-foot ones are really 9. Just in my opinion, that's the answer to some of it.
Or where there's not a bike path and they've done like a
shoulder wide,
a shoulder line to make a wider shoulder.
Yeah, the shoulder thing is a whole nother conversation on Nantucket.
Yeah, but that might be part of it.
It's almost like a third rail to talk about things like that. But whatever, it's just how we are.
California, I think, has a thing on anybody in a designated, because they use plasticizing paint to designate bike lanes on all over the place.
Yeah, the purple color.
And you have to, you're supposed to give a 3 or 4 foot buffer when you pass a bicycle. And same thing, it all comes down to enforcement.
In California, it's very important about that. You know that.
All right, we're off the track here. So let's item number 5. Is review of public way monuments locations ready to install. So I took the notes from Alan and Lee, and let's pick them up here so we can talk about them. And I believe that's it right here.
Yeah, that's the one.
So
Bill, your memo is accurate. We probably need to convert that into a work order for DPW.
So that's why I wanted to bring it up so we can break it out into, what do you want to do? Break it out into like streets and so that if they do are actually able to do this, they don't have to go willy-nilly and whatever.
Maybe areas.
So yeah.
Holder Dam, actually.
Anybody have any comments on this? Ed?
Maybe area by area. I mean, these are pretty good.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I just have one comment that if it were at all possible, they should be upright unless for some good reason they can't be, in which they can be flush. But I think the default mode would be upright unless it can't be for some good reason. Because the flush ones, as we all know, get overgrown, people don't see them, they're not noticeable as opposed to the upright ones. But I understand that there are instances where you can't have an upright one and you have to have a flush.
So, Phil, Alan will explain why the flush ones happened.
Okay, I understand.
You're right, though. I agree with you, and we shouldn't be using flush ones where it's just walking. If there's vehicle access like there is at across from Dock Mountains, what's the name of that? Rosalie. had the flush because the lady had to use, she's been parking there for 700 years and needs to keep parking there. And it was like a kind of a 10-foot easement or whatever ended up happening. But yes, I agree with you on that for sure, because no one sees it and it has less meaning, really, in my opinion.
So the point is that just, you know, the reason for putting the flush one in isn't just because the previous one was flush. That is not a good enough reason, I don't.
No, it was because of the mixed use of that spot. There was a reason for it. It had to do with access for an abutter or something. Usually.
So there's a good reason. That's all.
Yeah. There's only a couple, I think.
You're right. Most of them are along Baxter Road.
Yeah.
Because we felt an upright, or I felt, or well, the committee felt that the upright ones, particularly where there's just a path out to the street, were a little too invasive. And the flush ones, I was just out there a couple of weeks ago, and they're all the ones that are there are in place. But what we need, there are still, I think there are 3 or 4 more of the flush ones that need to be installed.
Like ants.
And that's something I can do. I put in all those, the other flush ones.
I'm trying to think of that lady's name.
The exception, of course, is on Hobart Avenue. We put in 2 flush ones. One of them disappeared. The one at
can't have them when the sand changes because they're going to get covered up.
Well, no, it's because I knew where they were, and I looked and I had a probe, and they're gone. Yeah.
Someone decided they liked
they're sort of missing.
Probably in the garage.
So that was at both Henry Street and Willard Street. The other part of the problem is that the dune comes pretty near the road, and trying to put an upright post, you're trying to find an appropriate spot where it's not going to either tip over because it's leaning or whatever.
Do you need Concom for that?
Hmm?
Do you need Concom for something like that?
No, well, I don't think so. We haven't used Concom for any of them so far.
Well, just asking.
Lee?
Bill and colleagues, with Will Del Urber moving to support for the Conservation Commission, we no longer have a liaison person with DPW. And so, Bill, I would urge you to talk with Steve Arsenault to urge him to give us a liaison. And at the same time, to ask him how best he wants us to present the work order for these monuments.
Actually, we have a rep from DPW on here with us, and she's going to unmute herself.
I can let Stephen know that you guys need somebody, and any kind of work order that you need to be done. It could be like put in as a service request, or just depending on like or like a synopsis of whatever it is that you need. And I could talk to Mo about it because he's over operations and he would be in control of like whoever, like the guys and whatever work they do for their week or their day. So a work order would be fine, just depending on the depths of things or how many or how broad it is. It could be an email, but we would prefer a work order if it's a work order.
Would we be able to, let me see if I can find that again. The, back up here. Did you see how it was, the list that we just said that went out of the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
So would it be all right to open the ticket electronically and then send that in, or they want one for each monument? Can you check and ask him what he prefers?
They probably would want one for each monument because it would take it's only so many guys, like 13 guys, so each person would probably be doing something separate, to get a large portion of it done, it would probably have to be separated. But you can just email over the, like you can email it as a big ticket or whatever. And I could just run it by Mo and just let him see what it is that you're looking forward to. And also talk to Stephen about like just designating somebody to be able to talk to you about the roles or what they did with the projects or whatever like that.
Okay.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah?
Just on James Street, which you had a question on. And my thought, I can understand not having a monument there, but I think if you don't put a surface monument, pretty soon you won't have it. And I just, it's low key, doesn't bother anybody. No, not very many people will see it, but I would encourage the town to make sure people can be aware if they're looking for it. So,
Rick and colleagues, the flush monuments, when they are on, now let me back up. The monuments need to go on town land, and therefore they must be in the layout of the way. But some of the places where we're recommending, it's quite narrow. James Street only has a walkway between the two properties, but it is also designated as a potential emergency access to the water. An upright would be inappropriate.
I think it might have been during.
Except
way
it's
to the
got the bulk of
ambulance.
Yeah. Also, a second ago, we were talking about Baxter Road, and one of the flush mounts is on Baxter Road, and then I have to check with you when I get the address. But one end of the way, it's out in the open, and you can, there's 4 feet on either side of it, 3 feet either side. It's really wide open like you would think it would be. The other end is snuggled into a privet. So I got to believe that the crackerjack crew that went out and did it put it in the right place, or someone's moved it over. But clearly, it's in the wrong place.
No,
either
the hedge is in the wrong place.
well, that either the hedge has been encroaching, right, or somebody's moved the line.
Exactly right.
So I'll check with you on that.
Okay. On that point, I got a call from Mo yesterday at the DPW. He had been out doing some trimming on the footpath, and he noticed somebody had redone their garden on their property and rerouted the path over closer to the bluff. You can imagine. It's around number 45. I was going to go out there this morning, but I had a conflict, so I couldn't get out there. I'm planning to go out there tomorrow and just see where it is. So anyway, internal vigilance.
Was that the Mo team that the mowing team that actually alerted Mo to the problem?
It could be.
I mean, who would have known otherwise?
Yeah, I suspect that was
a young Nat Lowe was.
I'm not going to put this in the minutes, but number 45 is very close to the Soros property.
Yeah,
they've
exactly.
got 3 pieces of property.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to just real quick, what Phil was saying, I just want to I just thought of something. I don't know if this is relevant, but where you have a flush, it's usually out by the street. It's usually somewhere where if you had a vertical one, it would kind of like be an obstruction almost, we could run into it,
right.
Bicycle or whatever. But if there's a way to have an upright one, set back towards wherever, like away from reasons that you don't have it out front, because that's what I'm trying to say. I think that's something we should look at. I know that making those granite ones is not that easy. Do we have any of the old public ways?
We do. We
concrete ones from Don Visco days. Do we have any of them?
Do we
save them?
The upright ones.
Yeah, well, no, the ones not that ones that Neil made, the concrete.
Oh no.
Original. Did we ever save any of those? Are they just out there somewhere? Well, someone had rebar showing. I saw.
Good God, Nat! You made me want to cry, because I talked with every
There's a
retired,
lot of them out there.
I talked with every retired DPW director about who made them, where they were, and where the mold is. And they all knew exactly what I was talking about, and nobody could find it.
Only person that would know now would be Donald that's left, in my opinion. I don't think anyone else would know.
They're gone.
Somebody made them somewhere in a mold and just poured it in, and there it was.
It was relatively simple. It was relatively simple. The mold is the same one used for concrete posts. The difference is that there was an insert, which was the reverse of the inscription, so that molded into the concrete would be the inscription. It was just a single sheet of steel.
Yeah.
Of the 36 upright granite ones that we've installed so far, we went for granite because if you take a look at the concrete ones, you can see the rebar, they're rusting through.
Oh, I agree. I just was saying to you, I know it wasn't easy to get them done. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
And we still have,
you know, that was a lot of work to get those granite ones done originally.
Yeah, and we still have some that are sitting behind
2 FG,
4 or 3 two paragraphs. So
yeah.
Those are
no, I was saying in those spots where no one can see it, maybe we can have 2. Maybe we could have one that you can see from a distance, but not out by the road.
All right.
Just a thought.
Well, it doesn't seem as though people are having any trouble finding ways to get on it.
Well, yeah, it might attract more people to go to the back.
I know.
We don't want that either.
Why not?
And one conversation we want it, and the next one we don't.
All right, so we'll, Alan, you're gonna check that out, and I'll try to get that address. So if you're on that way, you can check out the actual.
It's like that. Welcome steps.
So, do we want to start the process and open some tickets? And if so, where do we want to start? You want to start with Albert Avenue, or you want to start it?
You're talking about the upright one. That's correct.
I think starting from the beginning of the list.
Well, the list designated what needed to go. Right. Like Henry Street needs 1 upright. James Street needs to have a flush one because it's the walkway. Johnson Street needs a replacement, 2 replacements, and Willard Street needs 2 uprights.
I move that we start with Albert Ave.
Okay.
I mean, it's the most year-round public Albert Ave. It's probably the most year-round used.
Family scallop in this time of year.
Okay, Ed, could you repeat what you just said?
I said to move. I moved starting with the Hulbert Ave section of monument installation.
And a second on that. Snooki seconded. Discussion.
Who seconded? Who seconded?
Me.
Who?
Snooki.
Got it.
All right, I will. I'll start the process and opening some tickets.
Vote on the
What?
vote on it.
Yeah. We'll start the process of opening tickets. Any more discussion? All in favor of doing so? Roll call. Alan?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
I Rick. You agree to this? You're muted.
The phone rang here. I shut it down. So aye.
Nat.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Nelson.
Yeah.
Ed.
Aye.
And Chair says aye. It's unanimous. Okay. Thank you. Ed?
I said one comment. It seems like when you look down the Baxter Road list, the majority of them are really flush, right? Am I only?
Yeah.
Well, there looks like there's only like one.
I think one at the very end.
It looks like there's only like one
on the bank edge.
There's only one is upright, right? How many uprights do we have?
You know, I'm not sure. I think we have 5, maybe 6.
That could change things a little bit if we have a prioritized upright in an area that, how many are we doing on Baxter Road? I mean, a Hulbert now, we've got 1 upright and 2 uprights.
Right, 2 uprights.
When it says upright 2, that just means the way it's in parentheses, it still means 1 upright, correct? I mean, the way it's written on this list.
Colleagues, I think we're micromanaging. Let's send the work order into DPW with the encouragement to begin on Hulbert Avenue, and send the whole memo and let them figure out what they want to do.
No, we can, Alan, you want to see if you can get inventory of what's behind 2 fairgrounds?
What does this mean?
So
Upright 1.
Alan's going to get
2 uprights.
an inventory of what we have available, and we'll have to adjust as the results of that inventory is.
That's why I wanted to clarify.
Any more?
Just a point of clarification.
Yeah.
When in parentheses after the upright, like Henrietta Street needs an upright 1, that means 1 upright. But now Willard Street needs an upright in parentheses 2, that means 2 uprights. Is that correct?
A total of 2.
Is that what that
2
means?
upright.
Okay, so it means uprights, plural. Okay.
Right.
All right, so then I was just trying to see how many would end up with there. Yeah, so we still have enough to keep going. That's what I'm saying with the ones we already have without making new ones. I guess I think that's really what I was coming up to is we need to prioritize.
Right.
We don't want to use up all the uprights and still have a priority area for an upright, but we don't have one.
So before I actually submit the tickets, I'll check with Alan, because it's going to take me a bit to get the tickets open. So the pressure's not on to get that inventory tonight. And then we'll work off of that, so we don't get ourselves, we get in a pickle without creating one.
So we got four uprights.
Yeah.
Down in the summary is, so we got more than enough uprights, right? If the summary is correct.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. We're going to move on to harbor plant update, and actually I went to bring it up at the last meeting, and just as something that sticks in your craw when you see it. And I meant to bring this up. And this is the screen. That's Francis Street Beach. The town leases the beach out. But you can see from that there isn't much access for the public to go to. They've taken the whole beach up, and I find it hard to believe that we're in the process of renting out beach areas and shut the public out for a private enterprise. So I think it's something that we might want to.
What time of year did you take that picture?
That was this year.
Yeah, but what part of the summer was that? Summer?
Middle of summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
The
mean,
day that they weren't all out.
where's he gonna put them?
Well,
He's been doing it for a long time. What's his name? Brian.
Pitch.
it's no more, to me, it's no more than a restaurant wanting to have outside dining, and they can only get room for 3 tables, and just because they want to put 10, you got room for 3. So Jetty's Beach, that's leased out. And there's a section of the beach that there's plenty for the public. Here, there's
Hey,
nothing.
Bill, a
Yeah.
question.
So
Yeah, Rick.
I seem to remember, maybe Alan does, that the kayak used to go along the side from the beach toward the road as opposed to across the waterfront. And I think that's a possible solution here.
You just go with the bulk. Exactly.
Good, I just wanted to point it out.
I think just a reorganization is the answer. I mean, I don't think people are sunbathing at Francis Street Beach, but
Well, they used to.
well,
You
Yeah,
like
we're
that
going
down
down-
there.
I don't know if I
We're
remember
going
that.
down memory lane, and the boys club was
Here a
there.
long time, I haven't seen it.
The boys
But
club was there.
Well,
It was-
I'm gonna correct
it
you.
was the bathing all the time. So the point is, we're gonna go down memory lane on one thing, we're going down memory lane on everything.
I mean, it's a, this is
Okay.
this business is something that's a good sort of. There's no other place to do it. I suppose it could be down at the cricks a little bit would be the only other spot, but
It's not moving the business, it's just putting them maybe in a different
Exactly.
spot on
Yeah.
the beach.
yeah, I mean, that's
But
fine.
That's all.
What about the
But through
tide?
the chair, I was a lifeguard
Yeah,
for a couple of years back in the day, late 70s, 1980, I guess.
well,
That was a patrol beach.
It was?
Exactly.
And that was a beach that if you showed up late and you're a surf lifeguard, guess what beaches your options were? Children's Beach and that. That's where Bud.
I got
Bud
Mrs.
Clute-
Dubach swimming
Bud
classes. I
Clute
don't
would put you
remember any
right
of that.
down there, and that would be the penalty box for the day. If you're a surf lifeguard, to be stuck there lifeguarding.
Well, swimming lessons,
Believe me, it was-
There were children's, that's what I'm saying. Children's has always been big. We used to have a little floating raft he dived off of.
So this always was a bathing beach, right? And
But
all
it
we gotta
was,
have to do.
Yeah.
It was a
move the
bathing
product,
beach.
that's all.
It wasn't a very good one, but it was still on.
Yeah. So anyway,
Land bank's making it bigger now.
I just want to bring it to the board's attention. I want to have a conversation with
Ron Fish.
the leasing group of the town and just make note of it. And they can just, there's no way that I believe that the leasing calls them to take over the whole beach.
Exactly.
They got a shack on the other side. So they can put all their product along by the shack and the bulkhead.
I'm sure that they are also move things according to the tides and maybe that was the day they were getting ready for a big, I don't know. That's a lot. I don't normally, are they like that all the
Yeah.
time?
The reason
In that
I
spot.
finally stopped and watched because I was
Okay.
tired of seeing it.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
All right.
I
So
don't.
that had to either be before or after hours, because surely those were rented and out in the water most of the day.
That was during it was afternoon.
It's been a bad day for rentals.
Yeah. Anyway,
Somebody.
so
Maybe it's that girl out there.
if there's no objection, I will take it upon myself to chat with the town for the next go round of rentals.
By the way, back when I was on the select board, and that was 15 years ago, however long ago it was. I complained about that because they were getting like a couple $1,000s a year. And there was no public access on that beach because they had their stuff all over
Everywhere.
the whole lot. And it is a public beach. If they're still getting, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a summer for it, I think it would be better to let the kids go back, have the beach.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
It's about to become bigger.
Next on the agenda is the review of the
Park the electric bikes there.
harbor plan.
Yo, Bill.
Yeah.
I thought that the town was asking for liaison from committees like ours with the harbor plan.
That's what I'm getting to.
Oh, all right.
That's where we're headed now. And I will actually put up that memo. So this is a memo from Jeff Carlson, or an email that he sent out to the town about possible harbor plan update committee members. And so what struck me was in the yellow, the plan will continue its focus on improvement of equitable public access to the harbor to foster traditional and new water dependent uses. So when you scroll down a little further and you look at, these are the committees that are on this particular subcommittee. And what is not there is roads and right-of-ways, whose mission and charge it is to get access to public areas. So The question is, do we want to submit a request that that the roads and right of ways is on this, and be it designated such as the crack group is as an at-large member, or maybe that's they're not as an at-large. It's just there's room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. It looks like. So just bringing it to the board's attention, and what's your pleasure?
Well, I was on that committee in 2009, and I could have sworn the Roads and Waterway Committee had a seat on that, dealing with public access.
So you would think
As,
so.
as I remember the plan. So anyway, in answer to your question, I think, you know, the Roads and Right of Way should definitely be involved, because we're dealing with public access. That's what, you know, that's our whole mission here as far as the Roads and Right of Way Committee is public, well, not our whole mission, but public access. And so I think, yeah, we definitely should have a seat on that committee.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yep.
Lee?
Alan, if you recall, in my early days on Roads and Right of Way, there was something called the Harbor Plan Implementation Committee that that Sarah Oktay chaired.
Exactly.
And I was the official liaison to the Harbor Plan Implementation Committee, and Carl Scholand was the liaison from Harbor Plan to us, and he for a while was attending Roads and Right of Way meetings. Yes, I agree that one of us should be. I don't know how the original Harbor Plan was written. It may have been a consultant, because the Harbor Plan Implementation Committee was a follow-on.
That's right.
He was a consultant.
Yeah, that's
Bill?
what it was.
I would say,
Go ahead, Phil.
I think we definitely need to have a seat at the table. We're probably the only one of those names of the committees I saw that has any understanding, if you want to call it understanding, of Chapter 91.
Good point.
A good point, yeah.
Yeah. Bill, just to clarify, it's Rick. When the plan was done, there was a consultant, but he didn't just write it by himself. There was I'm pretty sure you'll find there was a Harbor Plan committee that helped develop the plan and had all kinds of public hearings. And he was the guy from, Urban Harbors Institute, and he was very, very good. So.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, like 2010.
Yeah. Might have been longer.
All right, so do we want to send a request? Oh, one other thing. When you looked at it, it said that it was anticipated the committee will meet monthly. So before we request a seat, do we have somebody who's willing to?
Oh, the committee for the Harbor Plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go over that.
No, I don't want to do it. I was just agreeing with him. I
Okay,
didn't.
so I'll draft a letter. We'll do a vote so it's formal.
I want to talk about it.
So we have a motion to send a request to Jeff Carlton for roads and right of ways to be added to the
Can't believe we're not. It should be.
Harbor Plan.
Harbor Plan
So,
committee.
yeah, I'll make that motion.
And that's made by Nat. We have a second by Ed. Any more discussion?
Yeah, just one. I think knowing how these things work, I think this has already gone to the select board. And so a little lobbying by somebody or a little notification, because I think they acted on this at a meeting. You might want to think about that. So yeah, I don't mean not to write the email or the memo to Jeff, but just consider it.
I think they've already selected
At large.
Members, Rick? Is that
I
what you're
think the
saying?
package you see here, maybe I'm wrong. I know it went to crack, that's where this came from, but it may have been on a board agenda, but if not, it's just good protocol.
Or
Maybe it's a-
send a copy to Erica Mooney.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
We can
Well,
take it
the
at large seat if there's still one open.
Yeah. All right, so roll call on this motion. Alan,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
and
Nelson.
Ed,
Aye.
and Chair says aye, that's unanimous. And I believe we're at the end of our agenda unless there's somebody has something to bring up.
We'll talk
I would-
about the. Oh,
Hey,
Did you want to talk
I
about?
would just, guys,
Go ahead.
you may have seen in the Boston Globe a few days ago, an article about the rowing houses on the Charles with Harvard, and Chapter 91 came into play.
Oh, yeah.
So anyhow, keep an eye on that. It is interesting, the writer from the Globe did not use the language that we had all understood, which was fishing, fouling, and navigation. He added in some other stuff too, which, as we all know, is not in the law.
there you go. Wow.
But anyhow, I would just say, keep an eye on it, but going forward, I think the reason why Chapter 91 came into discussion was because Harvard wants to do some improvements, and I think that's where the state gets leverage when if you want to get a state approval or some sort of license or anything that you need, they can use Chapter 91 as a leverage point.
Okay, point to anybody have anything else before we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So motion to adjourn by Snooki, seconded by Nat. Roll call. Alan,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Nat,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Snooki,
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Chair says aye. All right, thank you, everybody.
So now,
I have a
are
couple
we
things.
on that Wisconsin committee together?
Yeah.
It's you, me, and Alan?
Yeah.